Okay, this is a continuation. I took a break there for a second, and I'm probably going to do another one here in a minute. But this is how I do my receipts. Every receipt that comes into the company has a delineation form. It shows the tax year. It shows what property it's for. This happens to be a split receipt. So part of this is charged to Burav, part of this is charged to Maydol. It shows the amount that was charged to each property, and then it's written what the expense is or what the repair is or whatever. If there are any other notes, because this is a split receipt, I always put down a note and I write half charge to Burr, half charge to Maydol, what the expense is written down in this notes section. And then in this particular one, there's an original receipt. And then obviously, since it's being charged to both properties, there's going to be a duplicate receipt. So Maydol's folder has a photocopy of this entire thing sitting there so that each property is complete. So you don't have to go back and forth between these folders trying to find an original receipt. This, for instance, is a good example. This is the articles of organization that were filed with the Division of Corporations, Department of State, and it cost $260. The $260 was divided in half, and half was charged to each property, and there's a notation up there. I actually paid for this out of my pocket because the company hadn't even been filed yet, obviously, because this is the filing receipt. So I had to get reimbursed for the $260. So what I do when I reimburse myself for something is there's a separate charge sheet. It's written out what the reimbursement is for, the amount, the date, and the method of reimbursement. Sometimes it's an online transfer. This one happened to be in a check form, and it's check 1002. And it shows this obviously through the bank account so that we can write it off. Then it just goes through receipts. This is Burav. Every receipt has an explanation. This is a waste of money right here. I bought an accounting book. I never used it. Half was charged to Burav, half was charged to Maydol. I ended up going online and building spreadsheets and doing it that way, but it cost $14 to make that mistake. This is the receipt for the taxes for Burav. This is the initial tax back in October. And here's the water bill, $262.13. That was paid on Burr. Here's garbage bills. And then other receipts. There's the insurance company. That was for Burr for the homeowner's insurance. And that's Leatherstocking Cooperative. I still have to straighten out how Sharon did that because I'm not really sure. There's a premium that you can pay per year, and you probably can't see this on here, but it says installment fee. Every time you pay an installment, they charge you $4. I don't know why this was ever paid by installment, but once I get the renewal, I'm going to see if we have the money to just try and pay this in full and not pay that installment fee. And there are the rest of the receipts. So that is the Burav accounting. On the top right of all of these receipts, you'll see a little red check mark. And the check mark, oops, I guess you can't see it. A little red check mark. The check mark means that just like the bank statements, everything is in the accounting. So you'll see that every one of these has a check mark on them on the first page of the receipt. So it's been accounted for. This is the Maydol property, and it is the duplicate of Burav in a sense. It's got the summary sheet. It's got the backup 12 sheets by month, although, again, since there are only 3 active months, most of them are blank. I probably didn't have to print them all off. And then it goes, there's the copy of that one receipt that half of it was charged to Burr. I happen to put the original, receipt in the Burav property. Here's the photocopy of it. And this is how these would all look. Here's the income, and there is a copy of the check. There's a copy of the deposit. There's a copy of the check. There's a copy of the deposit. I keep moving out of view here. And then it just goes into the receipts. And there's Maydol has their similar looking receipts for the garbage and for the taxes, but they're different. They're by property. So that was the garbage one. There's the taxes one. Here's the landlord policy one, the water bill, and all of that. There's a post office box that we have. Half of it was charged to Maydol, half of it was charged to Burr. So that receipt is in there. So this is the final accounting for the year ending 2013 from the partnership time out. And the accounting shows a gross, an adjusted gross profit of $1,998 and change. I don't know what the change is. So taxes have to be paid on approximately $2,000 for the LLC. Sharon's final accounting for the partnership shows from January 1st through September 30th a profit of $4,102, and mine for the LLC for the last 3 months shows a profit of approximately $2,000. Some of the things in here I just don't understand what some of them are. They show a breakdown. This is for the partnership. They show a breakdown of legal and other professional fees of $2,060 charged to Burav and $1,373 charged to Maydol. I'm not positive what that is. I have a feeling that was Sharon's attorney's fees. It shows the repairs. We didn't maintain the properties very well last year, which is why we're going to be having a problem this year and coming up with some other repairs. It shows the repairs at $434 and $561. The depreciation expense, which is the reason I had to get this. Sharon's gross rents in here were $10,629 on Burr and $7,129 on Maydol, and the expenses, the gross rents were $17,758, and the expenses were $13,656. So there's the profit, and apparently has all these schedules and stuff that I haven't really looked at to it. So that is the operation. I'll come back in another video and talk about number 2014 and where we're at. How do I stop this now?